Okay, so we're gonna do a how-to or how I change the chain on chainsaw. This is Echo CS500P. The type of chain that I'm using is Oregon replacement chain. I believe this is the exact same style of chain that's on here. The model number is the 20LP X078G. So, and then based on what it says on the back, this is the saw that, or the chain that may cause kickback. Apparently there's no type of safety in the kickback. The chain looks very similar to this chain that I have on here. It has that extra little nub here on this side of the raker. So I don't know, I'm going to try changing the chain on it because I'm just not satisfied with how fast this cuts. So this chain is 0.325 pitch. It's 50 gauge and there's 78. I don't know if it's teeth or drive links. Drive links must be 78. So, alright. So here's the new chain. This is what it looks like. And just like the other chain, it's got that extra little bump on the, I gotta get this apart here. On the other side of the raker, you can see it right there. So definitely seems like it's pretty sharp. So we're gonna change it out here. I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so first thing you're gonna want to do, the first thing I do, I guess, you can do whatever you want to do. Loosen up your two nuts here that holds your bar on. You shouldn't have to back the tightener. So I'm just going to pull these off and then this cover. Before I started this, I also did go through and took an air compressor and tried to blow out as much of the sawdust and stuff that I have. Alright, so we got the nuts off here. You're just going to pull this cover off. Yeah, so this you're definitely going to want to clean out. You can see there's some stuff stuck in there. Oh, there's a little piece of a branch or something. Let's see, how does that look? Alright, so then you just basically pull it off. There's not much to it. You're just going to slide this off. Just like that. So, and then pull this chain out. So here's your bar. That's what that looks like. So before I put the new chain on here, probably a good idea to go through and take like a thin screwdriver and just clean out that groove in both the top and the bottom and get that clean. And then on this side here it has your information too for the type of chain. So it tells you that there's 78 drive lengths, the pitch is 0.325, and then your gauge is 50. And from what I understand, I'm not an expert on this, the gauge is the width here, the groove that the chain rides in. The drive links are just exactly that, the number of links you have, and then the pitch has something to do with like the size of the chain. Alright, so I'm going to take the air compressor here and blow that off and clean it up. Okay, so you can tell I got the saw here all cleaned up. It's pretty simple. If you look at where the drive sprocket here, it's an Oregon sprocket. It says right on it 3257. So I'm assuming that's just based on those numbers. I would guess the pitch of the chain and then a 7-tooth. There's one other thing to note too. On the Oregon box here for the replacement chain, it says 20. That is also the number that's on the bottom of the drive. So like on this chain here, the one I took off, there's a 20 that's stamped. I'm willing to bet that's got something to do with the actual size and shape of the drive tooth that comes around here. So yeah, I also took the air compressor, some compressed air here, and just blew out this track that's in here. It wouldn't hurt probably to have a small clean screwdriver here and just run the track to make sure there's nothing gummed up in there. You know, it didn't seem like there was. When I blew the air in there, it seemed like I had pretty much everything out. So that's good. And then I also checked the on the end here, the sprocket nose. That seemed like it was fine. It spun freely. You probably could. It looks like there's a spot you can put some grease in here on both sides. I know some guys say not to do that, some say to do. My dad always greased his saws. So it's just a little hole here and then a hole on that side to grease it. So, alright, so that's that. Next step's going to be putting the chain on. Okay, so if you've never taken the chain out of the package before, it may be a little bit of a trick. You gotta kind of twist it around until you get all the knots out of the chain. I should have did this beforehand here. Alright, so probably want to make sure your work surface is pretty clean. And now I've just thought of something. I did run some grease in the end of the chain here, or in the end of the sprocket nose, kind of worked that around. I kind of just thought of something on the spot. I'm also going to hit this drive wheel here just a little bit. Just put a little bit of grease in there just to help break that chain in. I would think the oil, the bar and chain oil should be enough, but we're just going to put a little bit of grease in there. I don't think that can hurt. I don't see how it could, besides maybe attracting some dust or dirt, but so we'll just stick that in there like that. And then your new chain, when you put it on here, you want to make sure it's all untangled before you put it on. And then the other thing is you want to make sure it's going the right way. So if I put this chain on like this, it's going to be the wrong way, because if you look at where the the way the teeth are, the chain spins like this around, and the cutting edge is facing away. So you want to make sure you put that chain on the wrong way. And I'm pretty sure I watched a video of someone on YouTube put it on the wrong way, or talked about having it on the wrong way and it not working. So, or boy, this chainsaw just doesn't cut well. That's because it was on the wrong way. So this is the first time I've ever done this. I've never changed a chain before, but I mean, like I said, I've seen my dad do it a couple times. So what I'm probably going to have to do is loosen up the part where it slides the bar to tighten the chain. I'm going to back that off some, just so we get this in. And there's also the bottom of this bar, I don't know if you can see it, there's a hole that needs to line up with, there's a guide, and that's what tightens or loosens your bar, or tightens or loosens your chain by sliding the bar. So let's see if we can, oh, maybe I can't do it like that, can I? Maybe not. Let's see if we can get that. No, maybe not. Maybe that won't work. No, I can't put it on that way. What I was trying to do here was put the bar on upside down to wear it evenly on both sides, but it looks like the only way it's going to work is this way, based on the holes in the spacing, which is unfortunate, because I believe you'd get more wear out of your bar if you could flip it over. Let's see if I can get this on now. Oh, maybe I had it on. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Let me fiddle with this a second here and see what I got. Okay, after I looked at it a little bit closer, these two holes here are the holes that you're using with this pin, and that pin is what slides your bar out to tighten up to take the slack out of the chain. You can't tighten it up like this because the bar will want to shift out, so you got to make sure you got the cover put on first. So yeah, I flipped the bar over, so you can do it either way, and I kind of thought that would be how it works, because I know on the older saw you could flip it if you wanted it flipped to get more life out of it. So just make sure you got it in the groove, make sure obviously that you got the correct chain. This chain looks identical to the chain that I had on, and all you're going to do is just slide your side cover back on here and put the nuts back on. So this really isn't that big of a job. I think it's listed as a 2 in the owner's manual for skill level, which I don't know, if you can't do this, I don't know that you should be using a chainsaw, honestly. Like, I don't know how you would know how to do this. And then the tool that it comes with, this is a spark plug tool. This is for taking off the side, and then it gives you a flat blade screwdriver here to then spin this to adjust. And you can tell as I go and then chain it tight. So you want to have some give in the chain. The first couple times you use it with a new chain though, you're going to have to bring this tool along because it will loosen up over time. And then you snug this down. This keeps your bar from getting loose. So you just make sure those are snapped down, and then that's it, or basically that's all that's to it. And you want to make sure too. Break off, not brace, chain breakers on. You want to make sure that it spins freely. Sounds like it's good. I don't see any issues here. It seems like everything's in the way it should be. So that looks good. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. That's about what it is. I'm gonna flip it around here, so that's what it looks like. So I'll give it a run here. Oops, I'm seeing the right way. I'll give it a run here in a second. Okay, so I ran this all a little bit before. Now I'm out after lunch here. That's just from sitting the oil that came off the bar. So obviously everything's oiling correctly. So let me get it camera set up here and I'll run it for you. Okay, so I got the chain all tightened up here, and we'll just run it to make sure it works correctly. Alright, so that's that. So after you run it a little bit, like I said, you can tell already it's sagging some, so you'll have to adjust the chain. It's just that chain stretching out. So should be good to go. I'll take some video here of this new chain. Oh, those points are sharp. See how that thing cuts. I don't know if I'm gonna file anything off the rakers the first go around here or not. Probably not. Probably leave them the first go around, and then the next time I have it out, I'll sharpen it up. So there you go. That's how to install a chainsaw chain on a Echo CS 500P.